Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's 2024. I'm Jonathan, and I'm going to make a tier list because why not? It's 200cc, and nobody's talked about this yet as far as I know. So let's go ahead and get into this. All right, starting off with Mario Kart Stadium, the classic of all starters. And I could say that now because the game is 10 years old. Think about that for a second. Anyway, Mario Kart Stadium. Honestly, probably a bit controversial, but I'll put it in the B tier. Yeah, it's a basic stage, but you can at least get some pretty good drifts out of it. There's a simple shortcut, and it's not impossible to navigate the course in 200, so we're going to give it a nice little B rating here. Water Park, we'll go with a C over there. It's fine, it does a job, it's a decent course, but I don't really look forward to it anymore. The underwater mechanic just doesn't really add that much for myself, to be honest, so I just kind of go through it when it's chosen. Not my first pick, but, you know, it is what it is. Sweet Canyon, also C. It relies on underwater and anti-gravity mechanics, just like C tier. I wouldn't say this is as bad to go through in 200cc. I feel like this is a little bit more manageable, except for maybe the shortcut near the end of the lap. But you know, it's nothing really offensive. It's just kind of there. Bomb Ruins, I'll give that a B tier. Not really a whole lot of anti-gravity shenanigans going on here. It's not too hard to really navigate the course in 200. In fact, if anything, I think of all the cups in Mushroom Cup, this might be the easiest one to go through, save for maybe Mario Kart Stadium. But there's more going for this, so we'll give it a higher B tier rating. And next up we got Mario Circuit. Mario Circuit, I will put a little bit higher than Mario Kart Stadium. I feel like Mario Circuit, given its more simplistic layout, it's a bit easier for you to hold your speed, maintain your speed, and just get the biggest drift you can while going through this course in 200. Especially at the beginning and near the end there when you have the final and the first turnaround into the course. Like that's the easiest part to get that going for. Toad Harbor, alright, let's see here. A little bit lower, let's see. I don't find this as bad or drive on as these two, but like the first turn into this, trying to use that boost shortcut just never really feels like it flows that well for me. And I know the optimal strat would probably be to go for the regular road, but I've just been so used to using the boost shortcut at the beginning that it's just kind of hard to break that habit, to not go for the boost and go for the regular road, which is normally slower in Mario Kart. Kind of weird, but it is what it is. Also on the top of my head, I would say that the shortcut that you have when you go up the trampoline things, the rooftop onto the narrow road, like it's fine, it works, you can do it, but it just doesn't feel as rewarding as just going through the regular course. Like you can do it, but it doesn't feel like it makes all that big a difference. Speaking of things you can do, Twisted Mansion could do worse, but I'm putting it here. Essentially because the half of the course that you can zero gravity and fly onto, it's just never really fun to do that in this course. Like, it's not even that fun to deal with 150 anyway, but it's just made even worse by the fact that you have like no control on that. Shy Guy Falls. I put this in probably mid-C so far. The business for any of these can change. This is all a volatile list, so nothing here is final until like the very end when I finish this off. But well, maybe it's not more fun on 150cc, but yeah, just like mentally going through it in my head, both before and after the waterfall, like it's fine. I don't really find there's anything too difficult, save for maybe lining up for that grass shortcut rail ramp thing at the end, but it's not like it really detracts or adds to the experience with 150. It's fine. It's just a decent course that passes. Dolphin Shoals. This is a tricky one. Like, I enjoy it probably the most out of the water levels we have in the Nitro Cup, but it still doesn't really do that much for me in 150 tournament. It's not really any more difficult or easy for it. I'd say the main enjoyment for this comes out before and during the part where you go out of the underwater section onto the right turn before you head to the final lap. Like everything before that, it's pretty nice. You got your big drift before you go into the Moray Eel Cave, and then you have the Moray Eel itself, and then the turn, which I enjoy that in 200 and 150, but more so in 200 because you can just go fast, and once you hit that line, get that drift, and take off from the glider rail, ooh, that feels good. Especially with the mushroom for the end, when you boost past the dirt into the final lap or the second lap, whatever. it just feels nice to get that in. Electrodrome. Where do I want to put this? It's at least A. It's at least S, but it's not quite double S. It's really, really good, especially in 200cc, but it's not creme de la creme good. It's just high up there, very high up there, especially compared to these. Like, if you put me in a lobby with 200cc somehow, and I'm given the choice between this and literally any other stage so far, and probably most stages on this list, to be honest, have this up here, it's definitely going to be one of my go-to choices. I can't think of anything that's made worse in 200cc that would be less entertaining than 150. It is a very well spaced track. There's not too many hairpin turns, and the fact that more than half of it is at zero gravity just makes those turns easier to do anyway. So I'm going to leave it in S tier for those reasons. Speaking of S tier, that's another one that belongs there. I wouldn't say this is any better or worse in 200 than Electrodrome, but that said, Mount Wario is still a lot of fun in 200cc. The only downside I would say this has is that I can actually remember a bad part of this, at least in my opinion, would be the forest. You can't go through the middle of the forest, yeah, and get that glider boost shortcut. I get that's an option, but it never really feels all that satisfying to pull up. It just feels like I'm kind of like wagering my luck with the trees and hoping that I do my trick jumps onto the right part of the middle and then get onto that ramp. Or even if I'm going around it, like, I'm just kind of hoping that I don't land awkwardly in that part. Everything else, though, from the jump to the underwater section to the dam, and then the final leg on the third section, phenomenal in 200cc. Made better by the fact that you're going faster than 150, so there's a higher risk, higher reward kind of thing going on. Oh, Cloud Top Cruise. A lot of people love you. I can't say I'm one of those people that love you. I like it a lot. This is a very good course to enjoy in 200. Nothing is really detracted from this, but I don't know, man. Like, how would I phrase this for Cloud Top Cruise? It works. There's different paths to take in the beginning. The middle section with the lightning is pretty cool, and then the end is just, it's there. It doesn't hurt anybody. It does the job. But it's not something I like really, really look forward to driving on every time. Music's phenomenal. I know when we get to that part, I'll be like, ah, yeah, that's a banger. But unfortunately, the music just isn't enough to bump it up to S tier for me personally. Like, again, I guess the best part of this in 200 is that I just go through faster, and I can go to the next course like these two. All right, Bone Dry Dunes. I don't care what CC it is. It could be 50cc. It could be like 9,999cc. I never have fun on this course. It just bores me to death. And the section that splits off into zero gravity, it's just never fun to do in 150 200. You could get a mushroom to go onto the top path. And I actually just learned this the other day. You can apparently bounce off of the sand plume that comes out and do a trick to go onto the ramp on top. But why would I do that? Like, unless I have mushrooms already ready to go, I guess, or a star or something else for that path. But it just never really feels like it was something that intuitive. The fact I just learned about this kind of goes to show that, maybe this wasn't the best telegraph way to tell people, hey, you could bounce off of this for a shortcut and then, do that. So, yeah, fun enough. Anyway, Bowser's Castle. Also a C tier. You know what? No. I'll give it the benefit of that. It is a B tier for me. It is more challenging to go through the first section with the S turn that you have with the lasers. But coming out after that, everything just feels good after this. Like, it feels like a nice, solid Bowser's Castle, especially after where we got in Southern. Anyway, Rainbow Road, yeah, also F tier. 150cc, this would be a D tier because at least you can make the turns, but God, I really hate this theming. Like, I know what they were going for, a futuristic Rainbow Road type of aesthetic, but it just doesn't really hit for me, Like, you want a future aesthetic? I'll show you a future aesthetic later on when we get to these two babies here. But on this, all of the colors are just so muted. The space colony theme just feels very generic, and you don't want that in a Mario game. You don't want generic theming. You want something that pops out and stands out and is in your face about, hey, this is a Mario game. We got Mario shit here. This is Rainbow Road. But, no, this one just doesn't do it for me. On top of the fact that this also just sucks to do in 200. Like, yeah, I know there's a strat. You gotta hit the brakes before you turn, but there comes a point when a little bit too much braking just isn't fun. After that part, it's fine. Like, the shortcuts are still very feasible. especially after you go through the blaster near the middle of the end of the course. But maybe for Mario Kart 9 or 10 or whatever they name the next one, we'll get a better Rainbow Road. All right, Wii Moo Moo Meadows in 200cc. Oh boy, it's very in the middle. It's very inoffensive because it was still inoffensive in the Wii version. They didn't change that much, but still, like, nothing's really that much harder in 200 for the turns there. Maybe the turn before you go into the optional glider path, but it's not really that hard to pull off, at least with the balanced build like I have. And going through it in 200, yeah, I have no complaints about it. It's fine. No, it's not better, it's not worse. It is what it is. Mario Circuit GBA, I enjoy it. It's a simple course with a very simple mechanic of zero gravity U-turn, but I don't know, it works for me. The theming is all right. It's definitely a glow up compared to, the original GBA Mario Circuit and many other GBA courses that could have been done better, but I don't know. For me, this hits the spot just nice, so I'm going to put it bottom of B. Cheep Cheep Beach. Again, I really don't have much to say about Cheep Cheep Beach in 200. Maybe the ending part is a little bit trickier, but not by a whole lot. Like, if you go at the right speed and you, like, tap the brakes a little bit, it works. But it's nothing really, like, outstanding. I'll put it at the top of C. It's a very suitable stage for 200, and I don't have any complaints. Unlike Toad's Turnpike, where I'm going to have to put this into, yeah, I'd say around there. Look, here's the thing about Toad's Turnpike, all right? I grew up on N64 Toad's Turnpike. I know about the whole 200C... Sorry, getting ahead of myself. I know about the whole Toad's Turnpike 2-lane traffic theme they had before, and I know that the cars change lanes, and in mirror mode, it changes to your direction. The cars come to you, and they change lanes into you. I don't know, I've been there. I had to find that out myself. But you don't get that in this version of Mario Kart, and I'm gonna sound like I say this when I say this, but I would have preferred that. Like, can you imagine the challenge of not only dodging your teammate or your opponents and their items, but also dodging literal oncoming traffic into you? That shit would have been fucking nuts, especially in 200cc. I mean, they won't have a mirror mode 200cc yet, but maybe we can hold out hope for that. But I would have enjoyed that in 150 mirror mode, and I would have enjoyed that more in 200cc with a narrower, more challenging road. But sadly, what we got is a more neutered Toad's Turnpike, and, it is what it is. Anyway, Dry Desert. Yeah, it's alright. Like, I'm one of the few people, apparently, who enjoys GameCube Dry Desert. I like the music, I like the theming. The Oasis is a nice addition, but I sorely wish they had the Tornado back. That was fun. I also don't feel this is any better or worse than 200 because there's not really a whole lot of, like, do or die turns in this course. It moves, it flows, it goes with the desert. If you played it before in the GameCube game, it's more or less the same here. Jonah Plains 3, man, talk about a glow up. Like, this course just looks phenomenal. I can't say it's a well-designed course. Like, it's not one that's super outlandish, but, like, given what we had beforehand, I'll take this any day over what we're gonna get in Booster Course past, like, Wave 4 or 5, I think it was, for a certain Mario course, but we'll get to that when we get to that. All right, Royal Raceway. I enjoy it. Before you head to the giant launch ramp, that one hairpin turn, the one U-turn you got there, yeah, it's a little tricky if you don't know what you're doing for 200, but once you get the hang of it, the rest of the course is just fine. It flows nicely. No real complaints there. DK Jungle. The more I play this course, the more I realize it's still good. It's just not as magical as it used to be. It's definitely better than the 3DS version, no doubt about it. And at 200, it feels more satisfying to get that turn onto the ramp or the glider, before you go into the Golden Banana Temple. But yeah, I don't really have much to say about this. Like, again, outside of that quick bit of better satisfaction, and I'll also turn in before you get into the, like, with the drum enemy things, like, that's a fine turn to take in 200cc. I have no complaints about that. It's just not as nostalgic, I guess, for me anymore, which is kind of weird to say, but it is what it is. Still enjoyable. I still would pick this if I had the chance to. I forgot to mention that there's the left turn before the finish line. It can be a little trickier, but honestly, it's not too bad. Wario Stadium. Ooh, man. I have a weird relationship with this course. I enjoyed it enough in DS. I didn't really like it in 8, and I still didn't really like it in 8 Deluxe. Mainly because the music just did not do it for me. I will say this probably ahead of time with Waluigi Pinball, but I don't feel this music was fitting for this particular rendition of DS Wario Stadium. I think the music in that stage sounds way better in Waluigi Pinball. Yeah, I know it's the same music, but like if I had my way and I could rearrange or reorchestrate the soundtrack, I would have DS Wario Stadium sound more instrumental and more orchestrated than what we have here, which is a more techno remix. I don't mind the techno remix in Waluigi Stadium because it sounds more fitting. The music for these two stages sounds better here. Enough rambling. Back to ranking the tier list thing. DS Wario Stadium is enjoyable enough to be top of C tier. It's the zero gravity S turn that we have before we bounce or jump back into regular gravity. I think a little trickier in that 200cc, but nothing too bad or nothing too crazy to think about. And on either mode, like, it's fine. It's nothing like super offensive. Like, take aside what I just said about the music and just focus on the track design. The track design, it's fine. It's DS Wario Stadium, but with the anti-gravity section added in the middle. And it's a fine anti-gravity section. It's nothing gonna bust your balls or it's gonna breeze in the park or feels pointless. It's there and it works. That's why I'm putting it at top C tier. Sherbert Land. I'm gonna get some flack for this. I like Sherbert Land. It's not as chaotic bullshit as it was in Double Dash. It's a lot more tame with the turning, but yeah, I like it in this. In 200cc, you don't need the mushroom for the end at the glider ramp, and honestly, taking any path in Sherbert Land in 200cc feels fine. Like, you don't feel like you're, you know, really pressed to make any do or die U-turns or sharp right angle turns or anything crazy like that. Everything just feels pretty natural and fine in Sherbert Land. Music Park. I like it a lot. I don't love it, but I really like it. Again, no real difficult turns here. The course has a lot of opportunities for really long drifts that you can do across the entire turn, and I enjoy that. I'm a simple man. If I can get some fast speed, I'm taking that shit. I'm gonna enjoy as much speed as I can get, and this course delivers that, at least for me. Yoshi Valley 200cc. I like Yoshi Valley a lot. Maybe not as much as I used to, but hey, when you nail that bridge beginning path and then you just do the rest of the course, it feels good. Especially if you get either a good hop before the end of the last lap, or you get a mushroom to just, you know, zoot past that bit of grass there. Tick-tock clock 200cc. I used to put it in A tier. I think I'm just going to put it, like, top of B tier. Again, very enjoyable course. I don't know, like, I think if I ranked this back when Mario Kart 8 was just on the Wii U, I would have put this in like A or even S tier, but now we have so many other banger courses, like, it's still good. I still thoroughly enjoy the course, and it looks and sounds phenomenal, but otherwise, it's nothing like super, what's the word I'm looking for? Engaging or exciting. It's just a thoroughly enjoyable course with nothing that dampens it down like everything else in C tier does. 3DS Piranha Plant Slide. You are a tricky one. Definitely better than 7 for sure. I don't think I'm going to put it down here. The two turns that you have before you go underwater, those can be a little bit difficult if you are trying out 200 for the first time or you haven't mastered it, but once you do, it's all right. Other than that, though, I'd say... Oh! Actually, let me bump this up. Nah, I'll keep it down here in B tier in that position, but I just remembered that during the glider section before the end, in 200cc, you can go all the way up instead of just going through the middle, which you can do in 150cc unless you had a mushroom, but if you had a mushroom, you can just save it for the shortcut. But in 200cc, you can go over the thing again, like in the 7 version, which I enjoy. I'm like, oh, I can do that again. In fact, I think the original DLC trailer for 200cc for the Wii U, I think it showed that specific mechanic off. And I saw that, I was like, wow, they remember. They're like, oh yeah, you used to be able to do this. Let's have me do it again in 200. I thought that was cool as hell. So thank you for bringing that back, Nintendo. Grumble Volcano. Yeah, again, I'm one of those people that actually enjoys this on 200. It is a challenge, especially once everything is, you know, grumbled down into the lava, but I never found it hard. I think I just played so much Wii. I just got so used to this course, and then when it was added in 8, I was like, oh, hell yeah, I know this course. I'm going to keep on mastering it so I don't lose it from my memory. And it's paid off. I still enjoy this course whenever it comes up, either in a friend lobby or online in a public lobby. Oh boy. Definitely not D or lower, but like, man, I don't know. This is a tricky one. Like, in concept, this is a really fun course. Except for the fact it's only 1 lap long. It's 3 sections of a lap, which I don't like because I want to marathon this, but it could have been so much more. I would have been a fan of that being 3 long laps again, especially in 200cc, because now you're going through the course faster. Ergo, all 3 laps would go through more quickly and more manageably. So that could have been an option, but Nintendo decided no. Apparently, the attention span of a racer is not long enough to go through 3 laps of N64 Rainbow Road. Yoshi Circuit, which is, yeah, definitely an S tier course. It's Yoshi shaped. There's a lot of opportunities for a long drift, and either way on 150, 200, it's an enjoyable course. Just like Excite Bike Arena, hell yeah, we're putting that in S tier. A little bit above this because I'm kind of a sucker for this course. Like, come on, it's a randomly generating oval with jumps and ramps and boosts galore. What's not to love about that? The course literally changes every time you play it. I wish more courses did that in this fashion, not in the tour fashion, which we'll get to later. But yeah, Excite Bike Arena in 200cc, give me that shit any day. If it's all ramps, that's all the better. Dragon Driftway, I really don't care for this course. The D for Dragon Driftway, it's fine. Like, yeah, there's plenty of hairpin turns and very sharp turns in here, which neither detracts from the experience nor adds to it personally, but I know there's a lot of people in 200cc that hate this course with a burning fire passion. I'm not one of those people. I just think it's kind of boring. It's whatever. The theme is okay. Mute City, I mean, come on. Look, if you know me, I love F-Zero. I love Mute City. One more needs to be said. This course, you can go fast enough on it if you're good enough to outrun a blue shell, which is kind of bullshit if you're not in first place. But when you're in first place and you're on that line, ooh boy, does it feel good to outrun a blue shell and say, fuck you to all the people behind trying to catch up. But otherwise, yeah, no, fuck that shit. I would put it in F tier otherwise. Anyway, we use Wario's Gold Mine. Anyway. Also enjoyable. I like it. Nothing's really made more difficult by this being a 200cc because all the turns were wide and Wii anyway, so nothing feels difficult on this one. Yeah. Usually when I go for the shortcut on the left when the paths diverge for the mine carts, it works. Like, it doesn't feel any lower or less optimal, unlike another course that has a shitty non-optimal split path who I could ramble on forever and ever, but I'm not going to do that. We're going to move on to more positive things. And that's Rainbow Road, also double S tier. This is the epitome of you. If you're skilled enough, you will breeze through this course. If you're not, sorry, sucks to suck. I especially love in 200cc because if you get your drift just right and hop off the middle section where the path splits, you don't even need a mushroom for that. You can just go through the middle, start drifting to the right, and then continue keeping your speed maintained. This course is just infinitely better for the fact that speed really makes or breaks you in this game or in this track, and when it does, ooh, it feels good to come out on top. All right, Ice Outpost. It's another split track idea that just doesn't hit for me. It's okay. Like, I don't really have any difficulties with any particular turns on this. Maybe the ending turn for when I take the ramps to the final end of the lap. But even on 150, it just never feels satisfying to do that. Ooh, Hyrule Circuit? Easy S tier. I enjoy this course. I like this course. I'm a simple man who likes the mechanic of activate things for big things to happen, and this course epitomizes that. Plus, you know, none of the turns are super difficult with this particular circuit on 200cc compared to 150. I feel they're all very doable. There's a wide enough range near the end of the beginning for you to just do your turns, and then bada bing, bada boom. You get to do another lap with the middle section of the 3 spin things and the sword, and whoa, it's like a Hyrule or something. Zelda, crazy, man. Anyway, Baby Park, GCN, 200cc, double S tier. Need I say more? It's Baby Park. It's Chaos Incarnate. It's an oval with items abound and green shells flying all over. Everyone said it before, and I'll say it again. I love Chaos, and I love 200cc Chaos on this course. Huh, that's weird. Sunshine Airport. I totally missed that. It was not part of the original Nitro courses, but on 200cc, I think it's pretty okay. I don't dislike it, but it's not my first choice. The airport theme is alright, it's there, but it's not really super emphasized, except for when you glide into the random zero gravity girder part and near the end, but other than that, it's whatever. I gotta be honest about Cheeseland. I used to really hate this course on 200cc. I still don't really like it all that much, but I don't hate it as much as I used to. I think once you get past the beginning part of Cheeseland, the rest of it is okay. But I still think it kind of sucks, so I'm gonna put it top of D tier. Wild Woods, another fine example of something very, very average and just, you know, there. I don't find it offensive. I don't think any particular part is tricky or hard to pull off in 200, but, you know, yeah, it's just kind of whatever. Animal Crossing, though, on the other hand, can be a little bit tricky. However, I still really enjoy the course, I think. Do I actually enjoy the course? Okay. So, putting aside the theming, you know, having all 4 seasons, how is the course on its own? I think it's okay, actually. It's not that spectacular, but it's not terrible either. It just is a course that has your characters you love on the side. 3DS Bowser City. Here's the thing with 3DS Neo Bowser City. It's tricky. It's hard to pull off, but after the first turn, and once you make it through the middle section with all those switchbacks, you get that one big turn before the glider jump, and you're making it, man. You're making it. Yeah, I feel comfortable with that. I don't dislike this as much as these three. Not that I dislike these, I really like these, but I don't know. It's hard to put into words. Like, it feels like it's more. I mean, it is more difficult than 200cc, but it doesn't feel like it's as rewarding a challenge to get through this as it is for, you know, the rest of these trickier courses up here, especially this one. Like, you can get a lot of speed with that last turn, like I said, and when you make the first turn into the underground-ish section, like with what looks like a parking lot or a tunnel, whatever, like, it's fine. It feels alright to get that in, but it doesn't feel super rewarding, like if I were to get the Shroom Ridge jump on Yoshi Circuit or cut through the switchbacks and just go down the middle path here, you know? So I'm gonna keep it in, like, mid-B. Ah, man. It's okay. It's okay. I think part of me that dislikes this course is the fact that it was overplayed all the time in the Wii version, and then when the Switch relaunched. I don't hate it as much now, because I don't see it nearly as much thanks to, you know, the rest of these coming on in to save the day, but on its own, like, it's not tricky, it's not hard, there's plenty of variety in the track design, but it never feels all that fun to finish up on. It just feels like it's there to be there. It never really felt like anything spectacular or wowish to me. It just felt like, oh, that's kind of cute. Anyway, moving on to Super Bell Subway. I still don't like it. Like, yeah, I don't hate it as much as I used to. I think I despise this course the most on 200cc. Mainly because the train was just way too fucking long, and if someone bumped you into the train, you're just kind of fucked. But now it's just, this is whatever. Like, I think I've gone over my initial disdain for it. It still kind of sucks. I'm not the biggest fan of it in 200 under the tunnel, but, you know, it could be worse. Unlike this next absolute fucking banger of a track on 200cc. No, I'm going to put it above New City. Like, this is how you do in F-Zero. Like, I could imagine myself playing a mod of F-Zero GX with this exact course replaced for Big Blue. Yeah, I say for Mute City, but this feels more like a future F-Zero track. And I'm all for that. It's got the right amount of variety in it, mechanics, and speed. Ooh, that speed as well. It's not as easy to pull off outrunning the blue shell in here compared to Mute City, but when you pull that off, especially with those Shroom shortcuts, oh boy, does it feel good to run the pack on that. Oh boy, oh boy. Starting off with one of the worst. You know, I don't really dislike it as much as I used to, but like, this course is just kind of mid. Like, nothing's hard about it. You get a mushroom boost during the split section by the Eiffel Tower. That's kind of cool, I guess. and then you get the boost through the Piranha Plant dirt thing. Also kind of cool, but, you know, aside from getting a lot more drift during the beginning of the first 2 laps and the end of the last lap, like, it doesn't feel any better in 200cc. It just feels like, oh yeah, I can get through this track more quickly. Which I find odd to say that, because with Toad Circuit, I'm one of the fucking weirdos out there that actually likes this course. It's a simple design, sure. I can't put it any higher than C tier because it's literally just a figure 8 course. But something about its simplicity, not the graphics, money, the graphics are fucking awful, but something about just a simple figure 8 with a slight little glider in it and the mushroom shortcut, I don't know, it just kind of does it for me. When I need a palate cleanser to just, you know, clear away all the chaos or some of the bullshit or bore of these levels, like, this just does it. Like, when I get inside of those checkered white and red lines on the edge, and I'm just edging... Yeah, I said it. But yeah, when I'm on the edge and I'm just holding that line real well, and then I let go for a purple drift boost, ooh, that just feels good. That just adds some serotonin to my brain, I'll tell you that much. Alright, Shaka Mountain. I like it. I like it a lot. It's not that it's fantastic, like, yeah, I'm mostly putting it up here for nostalgia reasons, but, like, on its own, just taking the course design itself, it did a good job of blowing up the stage. You now have the cavern section with all the crystalline bloomed lights, which looks really phenomenal. And you have the rest of the track exactly as it is. Sorry. Yeah, you have the rest of the track as it is. They didn't do anything to, like, overly compensate for it and make it way more Mario Kart 8-ish, which maybe they should have done for a part of it. But for what it is, I enjoy it. I don't really have anything to say for or against 200cc Chocolate Mountain. Alright, Coconut Mall. I don't think I'm copping out for putting in B tier. I feel like copping out putting a triple S or double S tier, but, like, maybe it's the fact that I still play this a lot on the Wii, but Coconut Mall and 200cc, it feels fine. Like, the only real difficulty is the turn before you go into the water fountain jumps before the final jump and then yada yada yada, but I don't know, 200cc Coconut Mall, it feels okay to me. I really don't have anything against it for being in 200. It does a job for me, and I'm all for it. Anyway, moving on to Tokyo Bleh. Okay, I don't hate it that much, but, like, of course it's so boring. I do not enjoy whenever people choose this course. In fact, I feel like since the rest of the DLCs come out, I've never seen anyone choose Tokyo Blur for anything, public lobby or for a private friend match. Like, it's there, and it should just stay there in F tier, as in never choose this course again because it's so boring. The speed in 200 does not do anything in its favor. Shroom Ridge. This is nostalgia speaking. I'm fully aware of that. But even then, like, with the traffic they have here and the speed you can maintain through the beginning and the middle sections, it just feels good to go through the course. Nothing really phenomenal, nothing really outlandishly bad. It's just a nice stroll by the Shroom Ridge. Sky Garden, Sky Garden, Sky Garden. What did they do yet? I'll tell you what they didn't do. They didn't make it terrible, but, like, I lament for the old course design from the original GBA. Well, actually, I take that back. From the DS version. I can't say I grew up with the GBA version. I played it here and there. But I grew up with this course on the DS, and I thought that shit was phenomenal. It's fine here. It's definitely not the same Sky Garden course from beforehand, but, like, I don't know. It's okay. Like, yeah, you get that cool U-turn shortcut with the mushroom in the end of the lap, and the rest of the lap itself is fine on 200, especially if you get to the lead with the mushroom or without one, but otherwise, yeah, it's just kind of okay. Nothing really great or bad. Ninja Hideaway. Also a C tier course. Yeah, I do unironically enjoy it more than these, because, you know, it has the 2-level mechanic going for it, but other than that, I don't know, it doesn't really feel like there's a whole lot more engaging with this particular course outside of that. There is a cool shortcut you can do if you go to the top path and take the Piranha Plant path on the bottom, which, when I found that, I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. But if you don't have a mushroom, not really much of a shortcut, it's just kind of like another path you could take. You shouldn't do it because you'll spin out if you hit that without a mushroom, but otherwise, yeah, the whole course overall, it's fine. Just not my first pick. I forgot to mention that the last right turn before the end of the lap sucks on 200cc, but it's still going to stay in C tier. Okay, I'm going to be real. I kind of forgot how New York Mid it's supposed to be laid out, so I'm going through it in my mind, and honestly, yeah, this is kind of whatever. Like, it's a little worse than Paris Promenade for me, because, like, at least I know how Paris Promenade's track layout is, boring as it might be, but this somehow feels more generic to racing than Paris Promenade. Yeah, it's supposed to be like New York, but it's a city with a lot of tall lights and skyscraper-like buildings. Yeah, comparing the skyscrapers to the rest of the wacky shit that we have for all the courses in A or above, like, it just doesn't really stick out for me all that much. Design or course layout-wise. Ooh boy, SNES Mario Circuit 3? Yeah, that's another easy F. I actually don't hate this as much as these two, for whatever reason, but, like, look at the difference between these two. Here in Donut Plains 3, you see a nice, beautifully rendered sky, a modeled 3D castle that fits in well with the rest of the Mario Kart 8 aesthetic, grass that looks like it has texture to it, unlike, you know, this one, and the rest of the course with dirt and the rest of the textures that actually look real good. And then compared to this looks worse than the Wii version. I think the Wii version even had more texture than what we have here in the Mario Kart 8 remake. Like, God, this course irritates me so much because, like, these two are the prime examples of just, like, how lazy they had been with the textures and the design of some of these courses. Like, God, these look so awful to play on. And unlike this, which carries it for me somehow with its simplicity, this just doesn't do it for me. Like, I don't like playing on these courses at all. Yeah, you can do the mushroom shortcut in between, like, the two blocks near the end of the last lap, but I don't fucking care about that. Yeah, Mario Circuit 3 on its own, terrible. I never want to see this course again. They can remake a different SNES Mario Circuit. In fact, I think the only one that hasn't been remade is SNES Mario Circuit 2, if I recall. Like, if they gave that course the glow up we got for Donut Plains, or for Rainbow Road, or any other good-looking SNES course, I'd be all for it. Like, I'm legitimately down for that kind of glow up and a little bit more mechanics. Like, hell, even 7, I think, for Mario Circuit 2 was that had a glider section in it, and it worked, and it was great. It's like, wow, it's a Super Nintendo course, but with new mechanics. This doesn't have any of that. There's no anti-gravity, there's no glider, there's no underwater, there's nothing. It's just a Super Nintendo course, but with less things. Continuing on with the tier list, Calamari Desert. I'm not gonna let my nostalgia get too much in the way of this, but, like, man, the fact that they made the train section part of the course and it just flows so seamlessly into it, oh my god. Mwah. Best kiss to that, Nintendo. Hypothetically speaking for a second, if they somehow remade this again for Mario Kart 9 or 10, let's incorporate Peach's Castle. Like, that was a fun little Easter egg. How about on the second or third lap, you go through the castle or travel through the castle, and then you finish on the last lap and just head to the same section as before. Like, boom, there you go. Another way to put in a nice Easter egg to, you know, make fans like me go happy, because that's a cool thing. Speaking of making fan happy with thing, God, this is such a good course. I can't put it in double S, but, like, God, I really love playing on this course. It's just pure fun, frantic chaos. Like, yeah, the pinballs can't get in the way, but if you play long enough, like, you know how to get around those pinballs. You know how to go hither and thither and get around and not die to the pinballs. And if you go on a split path within the pinball machine itself, you can find yourself a good item to fuck over other people with. Other than that, though, like, the rest of the course, going through the plunger part, through the launch pad, and then through the rest of the course, it's thoroughly enjoyable. City Sprint. Yeah, music's good, but otherwise, like, it's fine. Again, I don't really remember a lot of the course, to be quite honest, so it's not like a super big standout, but I don't hate it. Like, if I see this in rotation compared to any of these, like, I'll pick this over everything from the rest of C or below. At least so far. Alright, Snowland. I have no nostalgia for Snowland. I want you to keep that in mind. I played it maybe, like, once or twice as a kid with a childhood friend, but I could not tell you what the layout of the whole course was. That said, playing this course in its remake in 200cc, I love that shit. I don't know what they did to this course that made it better, because supposedly the screen shake was so bad in the GBA that it was just unplayable, but I don't remember having that issue. Maybe it was just because I'm a kid and I didn't really notice that. But for what this course is here and now in 200cc, with the ice section in the middle and the rest of the wide turns that we have available here, like, I like playing on this. It's a nice, simple snow course that doesn't overstay its welcome, doesn't do anything too crazy. It just works. All right, Mushroom Gorge. It is definitely better on 200. How much better it is, that's hard to say. I really enjoy this course a lot. I think it stands out compared to the rest of the contemporaries that we have. It still holds up to this day. But is it my favorite course in 200? No, it just does a job. Unfortunately, in 200, the mushrooms are not as reliable as they should be. Like, I think at 150cc, the mushrooms work perfectly fine. Like, there's almost no bullshittery. If you mushroom into it or you jump on it in some funny way, they all just work and connect to each other. It's not the case for 200cc, though. There are times where I've used a mushroom or got hit by something or used a star or whatever, and the bounces just didn't quite connect that well from one mushroom to another. So if it did work better for that mechanic, I'd probably put it in A tier, but given that it's still a little buggy with that, I'm going to have to put this in top of B. Can't put it any higher. High Sundae. I don't know what it is about this course. Like, it's the Toad Circuit effect again, where it's just a simple course, just done right, I guess. It's all zero gravity. You can go fast on it, and it just comes down between you and the guy in front or behind you with your items. Yeah, it's not the most, technically demanding course, but I get a simple kick out of that. Probably for the same reason I get a kick out of Excitebike Arena. It's an oval you can do fast shit in, and to see how much pedal you can metal. Not quite to the extent of Excitebike Arena, but, it still does the job. Rock Mountain. I liked it a lot in 7. I don't really feel the same here. Maybe it is because the glider section got nerfed, but like, I will choose this course if I see it, but it's not something I'm like super excited. In fact, if anything, it's more like, okay, if I'm given the option between this and like tour courses or anything else on here I haven't ranked yet, like, I'll choose it and I'll go through it. I'll have a fun time, but it doesn't feel any better or worse with 200. Everything's already wide enough as it is, given that I think this was like a Flower Cup course in 7, I think. Maybe a Star Cup, but either way, like, this was not a tricky course. This is very much doable in 150 or 200. And in 200, I guess you get the benefit of just going through it faster. Not for the sake of just getting it over with, but, just getting a bit of a sense of speed, I guess. Merry Mountain. It's a shame that it's Christmas themed and it only feels right to play it for like 2 months of the year, but when you play it, like, it's a nice course. It's jolly. It's got the theming right. The course layout itself is pretty good in that it incorporates all the mechanics just fine. And yeah, like, I don't really have much more to say about that. It's a perfectly adequate bottom of the B course, unlike London Loop, which I'm gonna put it here. Like, again, this doesn't stick out for me at all for a London Loop in 200cc or 150. Like, the music could have been better, the theming could have been much better, showing more of what Britain has to offer, especially London. But this is a little bit worse in that some turns are a little bit harder, but I'm not ranking it in D tier for that. No, I can get over that. I'm ranking it in D because the course just is not that memorable and doesn't leave any impressions. It exists like Tokyo Blur, but unlike Tokyo Blur, it's not a total bore. It's just there. Underwater, zero gravity, fast in 200cc, excellent opportunities to do hairpin S turns and big right corner turns. Yeah, that's the good shit right there. In fact, it's so good. I'm gonna put it right there. I enjoy. Actually, hold on. I don't feel comfortable putting this that high up. Yeah, that's more like it. Like, back to Dew Lake. Yeah, this course just feels great to blitz through with the underwater sections and the zero gravity, just giving you an opportunity to have super sharp, very tight turns throughout the rest of the course. And even outside the zero gravity and the underwater sections, turning just feels good on this. And the course just feels like a blast to drive through regardless. Maple Treeway. Okay, hold on. Yeah, you know that the nostalgia was strong for this particular track when this was the only other song in the trailer that they played because they knew this song would get your attention. And then, of course, 3DS Rainbow Road after that. But, like, regardless of the music, the course on its own, very fun. I do thoroughly enjoy playing through this. I'd say the only tricky turn in 200 is the large U-turn before you get to the leaves with the wigglers on it. But if you time your turn right or you just add a little bit of brake to it, it feels good. Not as good as, doing the rest of these courses, but, I thought it was good in Wii. I think it's better here. Berlin Byways. I don't hate it. I think, if anything, this is one of my favorite tour courses, surprisingly. But, like, funny thing about this, I actually just went to Germany last year, but I didn't go to Berlin. I went to Munich, which is on the east. So I didn't see any particular Berlin touristy stop. So I don't really have much of a frame of reference for this. I can kind of refer to Munich, but the architecture between the two cities is supposed to be different, given that Berlin's a little bit more modern. But anyway, that said, on its own, with its theming, it's okay. Music's fucking banger though, but Berlin Byways on its own, as a course in 200 or 150, again, considering it's 200, like, it's okay. Like, I don't hate it. It's just kind of a course that exists and works. Peach Gardens. I love this course a lot. I've loved it since the DS. I liked it a lot in Wii, and I can love it again in glorious HD with the last lap mechanic they added. It's so simple. Just go in reverse. Like, just go in reverse. It works. It's a beautiful mechanic. I love that they added it onto a classic like this. And it just feels so good to get that glider and fly around Peach and Luigi and the rest of the shrubs on the last lap. Not to mention that just this course is so wide on its own anyway that every turn on this in 200 just feels oh so good to pull off when you get that purple boost. Speaking of satisfying courses, come on, like, you already know this is going up in Double S, but let me explain why. This course solidified that 3-section tracks are fucking phenomenal when you do it right. Like, I thought the Woohoo Island sections were pretty cool in Mario Kart 7. I thought that... I forget what the other courses. Actually, I think it was just those two courses that had second laps. But when this course did the 3 sections and you saw every lap evolve into something new, that sold me. I'm like, yep, this is the future Mario Kart. I'm all for it. And the fact that this course is designed on its own is already so good. It makes me wish that, you know, we could have an option to do 3 proper laps of that. Like, I'd be down for 3 laps of this, just like I'd be down for 3 laps of N64 Rainbow Road over here. I'm probably crazy for thinking that, but if someone modded in this to have 3 laps, I'd be all for it. I enjoy going through the rings of Saturn. I enjoy going through the, you know, scaffolding drops as you turn the planet before Saturn. I like the glide that you do into the S-pin turn before you go onto the moon for the second part of the lap or the section. And then I like the final section where you have, you know, the tube that you spin into, and then you can spit yourself out with the booster with flying. I like it all, and I want more of it. Like, oh my god, this course is so good. And in 200cc, it just feels that much better to just get that speed and that adrenaline rushing through you. Ah, what a gem this course was. You know what? Actually, yeah, I have to put it above these. I like this for the meme, and I like this for the skill, but this is just a whole nother class of good. On the opposite side of a banger, we have another generic course I really don't remember. Yeah, there's the underwater section, but I really don't care about this. Like, yeah, you have the flower section too, I guess, but like, I really don't care about those. They both exist, and the underwater makes this section easier to go through. I guess that's kind of cool, but oh, you know what? Actually, I take it back. There's one part of this stage that just doesn't feel all that good on 200, and it's not to do with the turning. It's to do with the water stream that shoots you up onto the boat. I don't know what it is about that water jet stream in 200cc, but it just doesn't work reliably. Like, I feel like I either go too fast and I hit the underside of the boat, or it just doesn't work and I just sink back down. It's inconsistent. It feels worse for that. But beyond that, like, I don't know, the course itself is just kind of whatever to me, in my opinion. Maybe if I visited Amsterdam, I'd have more fondness for it, but as it is, I really don't care for this course. It's just so whatever. In fact, actually, yeah, because of the fact that it doesn't work reliably with the underwater section jet stream, I'm putting it in B here. As for Riverside Park, ooh, man. Yeah, I'm putting it down here. This is another course that had a really, really nice glow up. Like, definitely better than Snowland for sure, because Snowland is just snow. Like, this course, zipping through it with all those wide turns before the end with the last, like, spiral to the jump. I just feel so good to get that in your system. Yeah, another banger course. It doesn't feel any worse in 200cc or with the mechanics they added. In fact, I think DK Summit was the first course to properly add zero gravity hopping back. No, I take that back. That was Maple Treeway. But because Maple Treeway did that, it guaranteed, yeah, we're probably going to get DK Summit because, like, without the half pipe jumps, it's not DK Summit. It's just a nerd version of it. I forget what course was originally in Mario Kart Wii that could have benefited from it when it got ported to Mario Kart 8, but there was a Wii course. Yeah, it was Wario's Gold Mine. I remember because near the end of the last lap, you could either turn right onto the course or... No. Sorry, I take that back. It was in the middle of the lap when you first go into the minecart. You had the option for the half pipe to get some items, but because the half pipe mechanic wasn't added back into this game until the boost course, they had to remove it from this, which does kind of suck. Like, it'd be cool if they updated that to now have the half pipe, but they're never going to do that. That shit's long gone. Back to DK Summit. Yeah, still a phenomenal course. Still fun to play through. Anytime I see this, it's going to get chosen, unless, you know, these two are here or this. But yeah, I like it a lot. And I forever will. Yoshi's Island. For being a newcomer and technically not a part of Tour initially, it's an easy B tier for me. In fact, it's so B tier, I'm gonna put it right over here. I don't love this course, but it is varied enough in its track layout from the beginning to the middle to the end with the cloud section. That is having a blast going through this. And at 200cc, if you nail that cloud and the turn that comes after the path forms, ooh, that just hits the spot. All right, Bangkok Rush, another tour course that is okay. In fact, it's so okay, I'm putting it above... Actually, I'm going to put it above Water Park. Like, I can remember enough of Bangkok Rush to where I remember, oh yeah, the section with the night market tents on the end of the parking lot, that's actually fun to go through. And the rest of the course has, you know, sections where you can either go up the stairs and take a different path or just stay down below and, you know, enjoy the wider turns. That the fact I can remember those exist is actually pretty fucking phenomenal, unlike New York Minute where it all just kind of blends together. So yeah, bottom of C, but hey, at least there's something going for it. All right, Mario Circuit. I won't let nostalgia carry this too hard for me, but gonna be honest, I'd probably rank it right about here. The thing is with this, yeah, it's another Mario Circuit in a litany of other Mario Circuits already in the game. The course on its own is okay. It doesn't really do anything aside from, you know, Wiggler at the end, the tree shortcut in the forest, and the fireballs near the beginning, but otherwise, you know, it's very passable. It doesn't offend, and it's a welcome addition. Not the best addition, but a welcome one nonetheless. Waluigi Stadium, on the other hand, like, come on. I enjoy this course. Actually, hold on. I forgot that. Were it not for those two last piranha plants going diagonally and they just stayed horizontal and scattered like they did beforehand, this would have been double S easily. But because of that change, it did nerf the difficulty a little bit. I will say I love that they added in the optional top pass with the half pipe mechanic, because now the half pipes actually make sense on those parts of the track, but that just is not enough to put it into double S tier. The fact that the two piranha plants at the end were changed to not do anything and are just kind of like props at this point instead of obstacles, like it slightly ruined the course, just ever so slightly. But with that said, it's still a phenomenal course, and the top paths still make it very fun to play on. So I'm not docking any lower than S tier. It's still very fun, but it just could have been a little bit better had they not done what I just said. Oh boy. Okay, this is easily a B tier. Like, if we just got Singapore Speedway and didn't get anything else, I'd have been like, damn, these tour courses are fucking phenomenal. But no, most of them are just forgettable or whatever. As for Singapore Speedway, though, like, man, the theming, the variety of the different laps, the fact that it's not all just like slight variants of each other, like they actually feel like different sections of Singapore, especially with the top of the pool. Oh my god, that shit is just so fun to go through. As for where I put it on the tier list, man, that's tough. Like, I like this a lot. Do I like it more than... Yeah, I like it more than that. I like it more than that. Yeah, I actually do enjoy more than Talking About. In fact, yeah, like, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, yeah, for a brand new course, this is really fucking good. And they should make courses more like this. Like, holy shit! Wait, am I having a revelation right now? I think I am. Like, this course is actually pretty fucking solid. Not as good as this, but like, goddamn. For a newcomer that's like, what, 2-3 years old maybe? Like, that's a solid-ass course. Okay, hold on. Now that we're this far along the tier list, I don't really feel comfortable putting Waluigi this high up. I think it's probably better... Yeah, honestly, it's kind of better around here. Like, it's a fine course. I like it, but like, these just feel more fun to me. This feels good. These are fun, though. Vancouver Velocity, definitely very middle of the road. It's a little more memorable than Sydney Sprint, I'll give it that. I like the bridge, I like the hockey rink, but otherwise, 200 or not, it's just okay. In fact, if anything, I think Vancouver is better in 200 because when you go through the bridges in 200 with that speed and the zero gravity mechanic, it just feels easier to go through and less of a time waster compared to the rest of the tracks in Tour. Athens Dash. You are only slightly better than Paris Promenade, but honestly, actually, no, I take that back. I can recall more of the track than, you know, New York Minute. And there are a couple things here and there that are kind of cool, like, you know, going through the Greek theater and the rooftops. Like, those are fine. But is it more fun than a water park and zero gravity and underwater? Nah. Nah, I can't put any higher than that. As for Daisy Cruiser, yeah, this shit's an easy, like, top of B, bottom of A. Yeah, bottom of A. I really like this course. Like, I don't know what it is about the payment for Daisy Cruiser. I can't really say what hooked me onto it as a kid, but it just works for me. I really like it. I like Daisy Cruiser. It's Daisy and the Cruiser. There's nothing more I can really add to that. I just like it. I just like it. And at 200cc, it feels even better. Wii Minji Highway. Oh man, I can't put an 8 here. Like, knowing that this could have been more chaotic with more cars, it just makes me yearn for that chaos again. Like, I can go back to the Wii version and be like, oh yeah, there's something this version offers compared to the new one. Like, there's more chaos in the traffic, which is weird to say because, you know, when I play with my friends, they fuck me over 6 ways from Sunday when I'm playing on this course, but you know, I kind of miss that chaos. Like, it's a weird Stockholm Syndrome thing where I'm like, I want to suffer again, and I can't do it as well here. And aside from that, like, this course is still very good. I still do enjoy going through this, especially now that the shortcuts through the cliff sides are easier to pull off, but it's not phenomenal as it could have been. It's not as phenomenal as it could have been. It's just okay. Squeaky Clean Sprint. Another standout new course that deserves to be on the pantheon of good courses on their own way. Like, if you told me that Mario Kart 9 was going to have Squeaky Clean Sprint, Piranha Plant Cove, and a couple of other different courses, I would have been like, hell yeah, these courses are fucking great. Like, these deserve to be in its own standalone console game instead of a mobile game. But, you know, given that it started on mobile, supposedly, and then came to here, like, I've got no complaints about it. It's a fun time. I just found out the other day, by the way, that after the second lap, once you go up the toilet and then to the glider shortcut, there's a whole other section on the right with a Mushroom Gorge mushroom you can bounce off of. I just blew my fucking mind. I'm like, wait, there's more to this? There's more to this already amazing track? Hell yeah. B tier for sure. Could be better. It could have a bit more have an enclosed space in the bathtub just so it's a bit more chaotic in that section, because that section on its own just feels, you know, like you're just getting ready for the underwater pipe section and then everything afterwards. But, you know, before and after the bathtub, I like it. It's a very fun course to go through. Easy B tier. As an LA native who's lived here for my whole life, what the fuck is this course? Why are we going through a goddamn oil rig? Who cares? This is Los Angeles. This is the melting pot of America. This is the center of commerce. Have us go through downtown. Have us fly through Griffith Park. Have us go through not oil fields. Just do something that's not that. I mean, we have the Santa Monica Pier, which is, you know, a cool touristy place to go through. We have Dodger Stadium with a cute Mario theming that goes for it, and, you know, I like that, but, like, after that, it just drops the ball real hard. I'm also disappointed there's not a lot of tents here, so, you know, Minus 5 points for inaccuracy there. Ooh, disappointment central. Yeah. No sunset. The course is worse with the slicks. And 200 doesn't make it better. It doesn't make the course worse. It's still very playable. But God, this just does not feel fun to play on at all. Now that I think about it. It's okay, I take it back. It's not terrible, but like, my God, dude, like the disappointment is immeasurably real for this one. Like, at least with New York Minute, I didn't really have any expectations for that course. It just exists and it's there. Like, all these courses are at worst boring and most of the time just inoffensive. This, what did they do to you? All right, Koopa Cape. Man, oh man, oh man. I like this course a lot. I really do. But like, I've had this problem since Mario Kart 7. They changed the underground section way too much. I don't mind that it's underwater and that you have your underwater driving mechanics. I mind that you can't get zapped with the lightning thing as you go through the tunnels. And I don't like that in 7 it was just super easy and didn't really have much. At least in this version, they added in some more stuff into that section, like the zero gravity spinners and the half pipe. All right, those are cool and all, but like, it just doesn't make up for the fact that we lost the triangle of lightning. On its own though, like outside of that, it's still a fun course. Going through the beginning section, making that U-turn before the river, and then going down it, still fun. After that, still fun. You have that wide right turn before the next lap, and the course is still solid. But man, oh man, do I wish we could add in what we had in the Wii version of this. If that was added in, this would be an easy A tier for me. Probably even better than Daisy Cruiser, because you just have that challenge and the rest of the course to go with it. Madrid Drive, another D tier course. It's not as, actually, no, I can't put in D tier. It's not disappointing. It's just unremarkable. Like, it's fine. I initially hated it more because the right turn at the beginning was very non-prompted and kind of came out of nowhere. But the more I play it, the more I'm like, okay, I'm used to this now. And now that I'm past that gripe, the rest of the course is just okay. Yeah, there's a wiggler in the plaza with the toads. What to do? I don't really care about that though. And in 200, it just doesn't really feel any more enhanced. Rosalina's actual, man, this is weird. Like, I like this course in Mario Kart 7, but I don't really feel excited for it anymore. Like, there's not a whole lot of Mario Galaxy theming that's been added onto this version of Rosalina's Ice World. It's a fine course, and it's okay to control in 200cc. I got a complaint earlier when I streamed this for the first time that if you went too fast at an angle, that the camera would get fucked and, you know, not really show a good angle of what's ahead. That can happen, but honestly, if you just drift like you normally do in 200cc, you don't really run into that issue. Maybe if you get bumped by someone or hit by something, then the camera gets fucky, but other than that, like, it's not really a hard course to go through. It just is there. It's probably my best of the C courses. Like, at least I remember, oh yeah, Rosalina's Ice World, that's pretty solid, but it's nothing spectacular. It's just there. Bowser Castle 3, on the other hand, oh my god. They did not need to do this much work into Bowser's Castle 3, but they did, and I'm very happy that they did. In fact, I'm so happy, I'm putting it right here. I can't put it above Waluigi's Pinball, but like, holy shit. They did not need to put this much effort into it, but if this is the amount of effort we can expect from a Super Nintendo course in the future, I want them all remade at this caliber of excellence. Holy shit. This course feels phenomenal to drive through. It is literally the same layout as SNES Bowser Castle 3, but zero gravity. And because of that, the middle section just feels so good to go through. Plus, you know, when you get that nice U-turn onto the next section with the swamps, before you go into like the now 3D part where you have like the walls you can ride on top of, and then the last section before the last turn. Like, oh my god, it's I really can't put into words how good this is. Like, Nintendo, please, or in the next Mario Kart console release, do courses the way you did SNES Bowser Castle 3. Like, aesthetics, track layout, optimizations, do that. Like, god, the bar is set so high for this, and I just want more. So please, Nintendo, do it, do it, do it. I'm gonna save that for last. Rome. Another good Toro track, carried by the fact that you go through the Coliseum and it sticks out thematically. 200cc or otherwise, it's a fine course, and I am not offended by it. Not my first pick, because I really don't care for most of the tour tracks, but it's okay. Ooh, DK Mountain, DK Mountain. You beautiful fucking course, you. Yeah. Yeah, actually, now that I'm looking at this list, I'm gonna do this. Yeah, it's alright. DK Mountain, on the other hand, holy shit, like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And they did not fix anything in, you know, the sense that they fucked around too much with it. This course is still a blast to go through in 200cc, as it is for any other mode in this game. They didn't have to do anything. Just, you know, change the barrel to be a glider section, and then the rest is the same. Because it was already good beforehand. It's the right amount of switchback mountains with, you know, a fun downhill descent through the mountain itself before you get onto the next lap. Yeah, I forgot to mention that the last left turn before the finish line on 200 is a little bit more difficult, but it's still an A tier. Yeah. It's a simple course. There's not too much going for it. But in this case, it works for me. In 200cc, you get to go through it faster, and the path that you take near the end, where it goes onto like the off-ramp on top, that's fun to go through. And it feels more viable in 200 because you don't feel as slow in that. Anyway, Rana Plant Cove. Think of all the courses that are new and not labeled as tour, this is probably the least standout. It's like, it's fine, but like, it doesn't really leave an impression other than the fact that it's all underwater. Which, you know, it's kind of cool, I guess, but yeah, there's a couple shortcuts that you can do in the water to skip some sections, but that's not going to change this placement. And now for the creme de la creme, Wii Rainbow Road. I can't put it any higher than this Rainbow Road, solely for the fact that they added in rails, but even then, the course is almost virtually unchanged outside of that, and, you know, leveling out a few things here and there, and it's still fun to zip through. It's still a test of skill, especially in 200cc, because if you miss some of those turns, you're gonna burn up in the atmosphere. So yeah, Wii Rainbow Road, still phenomenal. Could have been better, could have still outclassed this one if it just didn't nerf the course as much as it did. But yeah, wow, we're done. That's the whole tier list. Yeah, like the actual end result, as you can see, is like, you know, nothing phenomenal, but, you know, nothing here was really super bad, except for Mario Circuit 3 and Tokyo Blur. I'll never forgive Nintendo for adding these two, especially this one. But with that said, man, this was a tougher list to get through than I thought. But with that said, this was very fun to do. To the YouTube people watching, thank you for tuning in. I'll probably do another video of gamer shit in the future. I don't know what it'll be, but stay tuned for that.